It's too fine of a line to pull them in and back and forth out of school.
Parents are signing a petition in one school district, hoping it helps get their kids back in the classroom. Next at 5, their concerns with the district's plans.
Marion County restrictions on bars have severely impacted their ability to survive the pandemic. I'm Stephanie Wade with the new guidelines that come Tuesday.
And we are enjoying some beautiful weather here as we wrap up the week, but that heat is starting to build off to the west. I'll let you know about our weekend warm-up.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
First at 5 tonight, parents in Washington Township and Marion County are signing a petition, hoping it leads to their children getting to return to school in person. WRTV's Nicole Griffin spoke with the parents who started this petition about their concerns with the district's back-to-school plans. Desks inside classrooms in Washington Township are still empty as students continue learning from home to start the new school year.
In our particular neighborhood, we have 2 school districts, Lawrence Township and Washington Township. It's tough to tell our own kids that, you know, our neighbors can go to school, but you can't.
Samantha and Mark Walters have 2 kids that attend Allisonville Elementary School. They understand the steps being taken by the district are to keep students safe, but they believe there is a way to return to in-person learning.
Our children spent most of the summer in summer camps, and we felt safe. They were indoors and outdoors, and everyone used precautions, you know, taking temperatures, hand washing, mask.
The district does have a plan to get students back inside the classroom, but it all depends on the COVID-19 % positivity rate in Marion County. When it drops below 5% for 2 weeks, elementary students will return full-time in stages, with middle and high school students returning 2 weeks later on a hybrid schedule.
Originally on August 12th, they presented a 4-tiered approach, which aligns with Marion County's guidelines of going back to school in person. They presented a 3-tiered approach, which was in line with that, more in line with that, but not exactly matching. And then basically eliminated the tiered approach.
This is the tiered approach guidance for schools from the Marion County Public Health Department that parents signing the Walters petition want to see adopted. It allows elementary school students to learn in person as long as the % positivity rate is below 13% in the county instead of 5% as Washington Township's plan outlines.
You know, it's frustrating that we are not following the experts in public health, and the school board is making their own decisions in relation to the positivity rate and returning to school.
They're all looking out for the safety of the children. I think that was clear. However, you know, they're not being very specific why they're being overly cautious.
The Walters worry that with the current plan, students won't be returning to class soon. And if they do and the % positivity rate increases above 5%, they will be right back at home doing virtual learning. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV. We received a statement from the board which reads in part, the MSDWT school board did vote on a threshold level of 5% positivity or less as a measure to start our reopening plan. We are very conservative in our interpretation of the Marion County Public Health Department guidelines, and that is how we arrived at the current 5% or lower threshold. We will continue to revisit our decisions on this topic. You can read the entire statement in this story at WRTV.com. Throughout the pandemic, businesses have had to adapt and make changes according to city and state guidelines. But one industry that's been unable to adjust to keep their doors open is the bar and tavern industry. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares their challenges throughout COVID-19.
Bars that are age restricted to 21 and older and do not serve food are finally able to open come Tuesday. But many have been struggling throughout this pandemic, having been closed for weeks.
We're just trying to save an industry, and my fear is that if we don't allow some of these businesses to open back up, we're going to lose the neighborhood bars in Indiana.
Brad Kloffenstein is the president of the Indiana Licensed Beverage Association, which represents independent bars across the state. He says the pandemic has been crushing to their members. Starting September 8th after Labor Day, Mayor Hogsett is allowing bars to reopen, but only at 25% capacity. However, restaurants that serve food have remained open this entire time at 50% capacity. Though bars can open, bar top service will still be closed. No dancing or live entertainment is also allowed. And customers must be seated at tables with no more than 6 people. Dr. Virginia Kane, the Marion County Public Health Director, said in July that 75% of citations for not wearing masks were at bars and taverns. Kloffenstein says running at 25% capacity won't be enough for bars to make a profit or even worth it to open their doors again, hoping the city will increase the capacity allowance.
I think there's a lot of bar owners that are scared. I mean, they've had their businesses shut down for weeks and months, and I think there's really a concern amongst these independent bar owners that if they're too vocal, then the restrictions are going to come back down even heavier.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Dr. Kane says Marion County's COVID-19 testing positivity rate and hospitalizations have been on the decline in recent weeks, allowing them to reopen more of the economy. But Mayor Hogsett warns to stay alert heading into Labor Day weekend following the 4th of July. The county saw a large increase in cases. The State Department of Health today reported another day with new positive cases of coronavirus topping 1,000. Today's number is 1,044, a little less than yesterday. Those results recorded between Saturday and yesterday. The overall positivity rate remains at 8.8%. The total number of positive cases is closing in on 98,000. The state also reported an additional 17 COVID-19 deaths, a big jump from yesterday. The deaths occurred between August 6th and yesterday. The statewide total since mid-March is 3,127. With the holiday weekend coming up, the state health commissioner is warning against large gatherings that could lead to a spike in cases.
What this shows us is that COVID can spread quickly in large gatherings, especially when people aren't staying 6 feet apart and wearing masks. Please pay attention to that as you make your plans for Labor Day weekend. We saw a surge in patients after Memorial Day and our July 4th gatherings. I don't want to see that surge after Labor Day. Make this weekend a safe one, Hoosiers.
And with such a great weekend ahead, Kyle, people will want to get outside. We just have to do so safely.
Right, and that's a good thing. The weather's going to be nice, Amanda, so you can get outside. You got some more area to kind of take up and spread out. Adding to the comfort factor today, that humidity super low, and it will stay in the comfortable range here as we start off the holiday weekend, gradually increasing as we go toward Labor Day and next week. Temperatures, they've fallen a little bit thanks to that cold front that went through here last night. We're about 10 degrees cooler. That puts pretty much everyone in the 70s. Connorsville last hour was at 80 degrees. Now it's 79, 77 in downtown and Columbus area. That front taking any of those rain showers down across southeastern portions of Kentucky. We will stay nice and dry for your evening. Those temperatures falling into the middle 60s by 10 o'clock.
A Marion County grand jury indicts a Lawrence police officer on 3 charges resulting from a non-deadly shooting in February. Officer Jonathan Clark is now facing 3 battery-related charges, including aggravated battery, all felonies. He's an 18-year veteran of the department. The shooting occurred in Lawrence on February 11th on East 56th Street at the I-465 interchange after a chase. Investigators say there was some type of confrontation that led to the non-fatal shooting of Derek Beverly. A spokesman for the Lawrence Police Department said upon learning of the indictment, the chief put Officer Clark on desk duty pending the outcome of the legal process. Now to Democracy 2020 and the race for president. And a new ABC Ipsos poll sheds light on how Americans view the 2 candidates. And according to this poll, more people find Joe Biden favorable than President Trump on a number of issues. You can see on this chart that Biden, who is represented by the blue, outpaces the president in each category. People were asked if several phrases best described the president or Biden. Here are just a few examples. For would do a better job of handling the protests that have been happening in parts of the country. 59% that describes Biden, 39% Trump. Here's another one. Would do a better job handling racial discrimination. 64% that says that describes Biden, 34% say Trump. Another question, would do a better job keeping the country safe. The numbers were closer on this one. Biden 55% and Trump 42%. And the final question we were highlighting tonight, who would do a better job handling the response to the coronavirus. 60% said Biden and 38% Trump. You can see all the questions and results in greater detail at abcnews.com/politics. New projections about potential deaths from coronavirus are not encouraging. One updated model from the University of Washington is predicting 224,000 more Americans could die by the end of the year. That would mean more than 410,000 total by January 1st. And the CDC is also out with its own number today. ABC's Romina Puga reports.
A grim projection. The CDC predicts there will be nearly 30,000 more COVID deaths by the end of the month. The race for a vaccine all the more urgent, but the nation's leading coronavirus expert saying that November 1st date may be possible, but it is not likely.
I think it's unlikely, but I think we can get it.
Surgeon General Jerome Adams clarifying the call for governors to prepare for that November date.
It's not just about having a vaccine that is safe and effective. It's about being ready to distribute it, because what I would hate is for us to have a vaccine, but it still not get to the people who most need it.
Dr. Monsef Slaoui of Operation Warp Speed says whenever a vaccine is ready, they will have enough to vaccinate 20 to 25 million people.
And then we will ramp up the manufacturing to immunize the U.S. population by the middle of 2021.
Heading into Labor Day weekend, health experts warn Americans to stay vigilant and avoid large gatherings.
We hit a peak in this country on July 24th, which was about 2 to 3 weeks after the 4th of July.
At least 8 universities in the U.S. are now reporting more than 1,000 cases of COVID on campus. SUNY Oneonta has sent their students home after reporting almost 400 positive cases since the start of the fall semester.
I kind of thought it was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen this soon.
And more news on vaccines. Developer Moderna is slowing enrollment in its phase 3 trials to ensure it has sufficient representation of those most at risk for the virus. Enrolling the elderly, communities of color, and people with underlying health conditions is a priority. In North Carolina, Romina Puga, ABC News.
Still ahead on WRTV, Lucas Oil Stadium will not be empty for the Colts home opener, but there won't be too many tickets to go around either. Find out what the team has decided and how that number could still change. It's not tennis, it's not badminton, so what are they playing on these courts in Greenwood? The sport gaining traction that brought more than 150 people to compete today. Welcome back. The Colts will have fans at their home opener on September 20th, but that number will be capped at just 2,500. The team making that announcement just a short time ago. Discussions with Marion County health officials and the NFL led to that capacity. The team is working on how those tickets will be distributed and what to do for fans who already purchased tickets. The fan limit could be changed going forward. And Colts center Ryan Kelly signed a contract extension on Thursday, reported to be worth $50 million over 4 years. That makes him the highest paid player at his position in the NFL. Kelly was the Colts' first-round draft pick in 2016. He talked about Indy being the perfect place for him from the very beginning.
The only way that you contribute in this league is to be on the field and to be available, accountable and available is kind of the way I live, and that's the motto that I go about every single day. And so I think it just took me a little bit longer than what I expected it to figure out that, and knock on wood, hopefully stay healthy for the rest of my career.
The new deal will keep Kelly with the Colts through the 2024 season. The Colts have some big decisions to make tomorrow. The final roster for 2020 will be decided. 80 players will be cut down to just 53. The team will get to keep 16 others on the practice squad. That's 4 more than last season. Look for that update Saturday afternoon on WRTV.com. A busy day of competition on the courts today in Greenwood, but this is a sport you might not be familiar with. It's pickleball. Greenwood Parks and Rec hosted the 2nd annual Pickleball Open today, welcoming players from Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Missouri. So what is pickleball? It combines elements of tennis, badminton, and table tennis with 2 or 4 players using paddles to hit the ball. It's a sport that's found a home in Greenwood.
The sport's taken off. Greenwood's embracing it and really encouraging the sport. We built new courts this year. We've added additional courts this year to the existing pickleball courts. So we have 12 active pickleball courts going today for the tournament.
More than 150 players participated in the tournament at Craig Park. If you're looking for something fun to do tomorrow, especially if you're into cars, head to Victory Field. The home of the Indianapolis Indians is hosting the Grand Slam Auto Show Saturday. Classic cars and hot rods will be on display in the Victory Field parking lot and inside on the concourse. And 9 of the best vehicles will be on the field. You'll also find motorcycles on display in the outfield warning track. Now, this runs from 9 to 3 and is free. Social distancing and mask requirements will be in place. And speaking of cars, you may have heard the sound of engines coming from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway the past 2 days. Drivers in the Mazda Road to Indy Series racing in the MX-5 Cup. The next big event at the track is the IndyCar Harvest Grand Prix on October 3rd and 4th. A decision on whether fans will be able to attend has not been made yet. And it was a great day for some racing, Kyle. Those guys had some good weather for that.
Yeah, fantastic for that, for pickleball as well. Lots of sunshine and breaking a little bit of a sweat there, I'm sure, but maybe you're also taking a little time to relax on the water. This guy out on Eagle Creek earlier today, and you can see the nice calm water, even with a little bit of a breeze out there. Nice to enjoy all that sunshine. Just don't forget the sunscreen, even though those temperatures are a little more comfortable out there. Still, the UV index running very high, and we got a lot of sunshine as we check out the IU view here on the Weather Now camera network. Temperatures that are running 76 degrees in Greenwood, Kokomo, Indianapolis at 77 right now. And we mentioned it's been a little bit on the breezy side. That northwest wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour, even 20 mile per hour wind for you in the Peru area. Tomorrow, it's not going to be quite as breezy, but as we get into the afternoon, we'll see those winds kicking up. This time, though, out of that southwest direction, so that'll bring in some slightly warmer temperatures. Winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour as we go throughout the afternoon. But as we start things off, we're going to have clear skies, that low humidity, and a fairly light wind tonight. That means temperatures do tumble a little bit. We're talking about lows getting down into the lower 50s at Frankfort, 53, 52 in Logansport, 53 degrees for you Saturday morning in Anderson, right around 55 in the city. A little cooler as we get to outlying areas, though. Shelbyville, Noblesville at 52. So you might need that jacket just a little bit as you head out the door early in Seymour and Columbus with temperatures around 50 degrees. But lots of sunshine once again. Humidity remains in check for our Saturday, and temperatures will climb into the middle 70s here at noon. 82 for that afternoon high. That's really right about where we should be here for this time of year and the early part of September. 82 in Columbus, 83 in Lafayette. So just a couple degrees warmer here as we work our way into the western portion of the state. Second half of the weekend, although we got a 3-day weekend for many of us, we've got some more clouds that will start to return as we go into our Sunday. A high temperature that will make its way into the lower 80s once again. Here's a look at TrueCast. You can see on Sunday the clouds, but I do think the rain chances are going to be staying off to our north and west as we go through the day. By Monday, system comes in, may bring in a few showers and thunderstorms, still timing that out exactly. But I don't think we're going to have a big washout or anything like that for Labor Day. In fact, in the 7-day planning forecast, that rain chance only 20% right now on Monday, a high of 85. So it will be a little more humid here as we go into Tuesday. Isolated shower or thunderstorm as well. Looks like the bulk of that system is going to hang off to our north and west as we go through the next couple of days. But we take you into Wednesday and Thursday, middle of the week. Those rain chances do come up just a little bit. And that's also going to eventually bring down those temperatures after a cold front goes through the area. High temperatures in the middle 70s, so a little cool as we go into the end of next week. Amanda?
Thanks, Kyle. Disney's newest live-action film is out today, just not in theaters. Still ahead, we hear from the director of Mulan about what makes this version of the Disney classic so different from the original. We want to remind you that WRTV is raising money right now to ensure kids in low-income households have books of their very own. We are asking you to donate to our If You Give a Child a Book campaign. Donations will be accepted through September 11th. Just go to WRTV.com/giveabook for details on how to donate. Moviegoers have been waiting months for some big new releases due to the pandemic, and now they have one. But Disney did not release the live-action film Mulan in theaters as originally intended back in March. It was released today to Disney Plus subscribers for an extra cost of $29.99. The animated film was released in 1998 and it became an instant classic with its powerful music and a deep, heartfelt storyline. Now it's back, but in live action without the music aspect of the original.
We approached making this film as a completely new reimagining of the classic Chinese legend, which is over 1,000 years old. Our movie is a huge epic action adventure movie. Having our characters burst into song wasn't really appropriate in this genre. I hope that the Mulan story does what it's always done, which is to tell a story of honor and bravery and courage.
Mulan will be available to all Disney Plus subscribers on December 4th. The Democratic candidate for governor in Indiana says he has a plan to better protect our most vulnerable citizens from COVID-19. All new at 6, we find out what that plan is and the response from Governor Eric Holcomb's campaign. A famous Chicago pizzeria opening its first Indiana location is still looking for employees. Details on hiring events next week ahead on the news at 5:30.